so many things in life, but we serve a God that's able to do all things. Yeah. Creator of all things. Some seek for healing through doctors. It's more than I know a great physician that is able to do all things. Touch every part of your body with healing. I was thinking, I said doctors they practice a lot. But I know the doctor that is able to do all things. He's a great physician that knows every part that needs to be touched. And he can touch those parts. Because he is who he says he is. He is going to praise God. He is worthy to be saved, to praise today. And I kind of enjoy being in his house. I know we have a whole house full of people today. I thank you for being here. I still want you to listen as Brother Ralph comes. God gives us words. Gives us his word to encourage, to lift us up, to save, to heal, to do so many things in our life. But we've got to take the word and we've got to apply it. When we apply God's words in it, it begins to work. Because we get a relationship with God and know who he really is. So as Brother Ralph comes, he's got a lot to say this morning. And I know the Lord's been speaking to him all night. As he comes, pay close attention to what he's got to say. Amen. I believe if we pay attention to what God's word says, we can go back out those doors different than what we come in this morning. So as he comes, come on, Brother Ralph. Make you feel welcome.
Good crowd today. Glad to see everyone here. Before we get started, is it okay if I take just a minute? Three of you said okay, I'll take that as a Today's Veterans Day. It's a very important day. It's a day that this country has set aside to honor those that have served for us in whatever means and way they could. And we would just like to take just a minute if we could and to just honor them as well today, the best way we know how. I want to ask if there's anyone in here today, if you don't mind, if you're a veteran, would you please stand up? Amen. Thank God for each and every one of you. Thank God for each and every one of you. Your service means a lot. And we just want to pray that give this time and just thank you for what you do and what you've done. The sacrifices you've made, the time you've spent, we truly do thank you for it. All right, we want to, wait a minute. How many of you know Pastor Steve? It is awful quiet, isn't it? We can actually enjoy service. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. He's doing the Lord's work. He is preaching this morning at his brother-in-law's church, so we want to pray for him. Because they're showing the time. We want to pray for him. And we want to thank God for each and every person that's here. By the way, just in case y'all don't know, today's my mother's birthday. She's here. 80 years young today. Birthday. And we thank God for it. She's awesome. She's one of Mother's sisters. And I thank her for what she's always doing for our family. And all the brothers and sisters here, somebody here? I can't believe that Brady about it. I think my brother lost a tree. I told him, I said, don't you do that, Brady. And they know I would have to say that. If the Lord was to speak to them, well, right now they just need to settle. So we're glad that they're here. We thank God for them. Have an awesome family and love each and every one of them. But we also love the Word of God. And I want you to know that we serve a God that is able. Not only is He able, you know, I'm afraid sometimes we love that word able to the point that we truly let it sink into us and we let it get to us and we think that He is able and that's all that we get. Sherry, we got to get past it, Bible says. You put the title up on me, please. He's more than just able, but the God that we serve is willing. I serve a God that's willing to meet every need in this house. And I can ask for testimonies of those that God has touched and healed and brought from one thing to another. And that we never get out of here today because God has done more for us than we can ever say. And I want to tell you, not only is He willing, not only is He able, but He will exceed the expectations that you have. Anybody here ever asked God to do something and He do better than you thought He would do? Amen. Because we serve an awesome God, Sue Ellen, that knows exactly where we are and knows exactly what we need and is able to bring what we need. Amen. We're glad that the ladies from Terrence Place are here today. We appreciate you. We're glad that you're here. I wish y'all would smile. Y'all killing me. We always, in our life, we always look at things and try to find some way, something, somehow, we try to make things better. Michael and I, we try to make things better for our kids than we ever knew. We try and we do everything that we can do to make things better for our family than we ever had. We want to always make things better. We want to look to things and we'll try things and we'll go and we'll experiment and we'll say, well, if this will help, if this will do better. We want our children to have more than we did. I'm the only one like it. So we all want to look, but I want to tell y'all something right now. We can never do better than Jesus. No matter how much we have, no matter how much we can give, no matter how hard we try, we cannot give the one that gives life. We cannot give the one that is a life giver. And I want to talk today about how that He will and how that He has and how that we can see some examples in His Word. You know, sometimes the only way we can learn is from an example. Two of us are that way. The rest of us have to be smacked around a little bit or something. But we need to be able to learn, and we need to be able to realize that as we're learning and as we're growing, that God is continually making things out of us that we never thought we could be. We get to these places in our life that we feel like we ain't doing nothing. Anybody ever been there? We feel like we're not accomplishing anything with anyone. We're not helping anybody. We're not doing anything that will help or benefit anyone else. And the Lord just kind of said, Aaron, at these times when I've heard you testify to the same thing, sometimes when we get to these times in our life, we get frustrated. And we want to do something so bad, we'll do the wrong thing. Or we want to do something so bad that we're doing things that are just absolutely out of order and out of line in the name of Jesus Christ, trying to do everything to make everything right. And sometimes we need those seasons and those times of refreshing that we can just sit and let the Lord and the Spirit of the Lord grow us up so that we can move forward and do those things which we need to and that are necessary. Anybody here willing to grow today? Anybody in here willing to let the God of our salvation, the Creator of the universe, to exceed your expectations of Him? Because if you're willing, I believe that He is able. I believe that He will do just that. And I'm going to talk about a few people, and I probably, maybe, might not be too long. But you love me anyway, don't you? But let's go to Acts chapter 3. You got your Bible? You want to turn there? I'm going to tell you something. He can give you more than you ask for. He can give you more. He can give you more. His desire. Somebody, I believe, quoted after Kathy gave that time there. Jeremiah 29:11. He knows the thoughts that He thinks towards you. They're thoughts of good. They're not evil thoughts, but they're good thoughts. He may give you an expected end. But Peter and John went up to the temple about the 9th hour to pray in 3 and 1. And they went up there to pray. And as they were there praying, they began to pass by this man that had been blind since birth. His mother's womb. And I want to say, let's just go ahead and read it. And a certain man, in verse 2, lame from his mother's womb, was carried, whom they laid daily at the gate of the temple, which is called Beautiful, to ask alms of them that entered into the temple, who seeing Peter and John about to go into the temple, asking alms. How many of you know He's willing to exceed your expectations? The only thing he knew was he was lame and he couldn't get up and he couldn't walk and he couldn't work and provide for himself, so he had to rely on the generosity of strangers and others that would come to the temple to help him even to live or to survive or to go on this. And he was looking for something to just help him make it through the day. He was looking for something to have a little bit of food, to be able to purchase some food, Pastor, to be able to live that day and not go hungry. I know that sometimes we'll sit down at the table and we'll have more than enough there. Anybody ever have more than enough to leave the table hungry? Not too many. That's exactly right. When there's more than enough, why do we leave it on the table? Can I tell you, He's got a whole table set before us this morning. And I want to let us all know, if we leave anything on the table here today, it ain't His fault. He prepared it. He has set before us a table in the presence of our enemies. And we may be able to partake of everything that He has for us on this table. And as Peter and John were there, and they began to listen to the man asking alms of them, but I love what the Bible says. When it says that Peter and John, they fastened their eyes upon Him, and they began to look at Him, and they said, look, now, can I put this in my words? You all can read it, can't you? Peter fastened his eyes upon Him, and he said unto him, he said, look at it. Look on, look. Come on. Can I tell you what's wrong with church today? Well, that makes you mad already. I see everybody in the house supposed to get mad. We're afraid for people to look at us. We cannot be a light into this world if they don't see us walking the light that Jesus Christ has anointed us to walk. We've got to learn how, some way, somehow, to be bold enough to be the people that God has made us. And we need to be able to stand up in front of whoever and whatever and proclaim the name of Jesus Christ. And to allow the world to know that we're standing on His Word and His principles regardless of what anybody says. Now, anybody got the faith enough today to walk out into the world and say, look at me? Now, don't miss that. Don't say, look at what I'm wearing. Don't say, look at how tall or how short or how strong I am. Don't look at that. Say, you look at me so that you may see the Creator of the universe in me. And if you see Him in me, then there's an opportunity of your expectation. You know what an expectation is? Anybody here know? I know you expected me to quit real soon. That ain't gonna happen. But an expectation is looking forward to something in the future that would be good. Because if it's bad, stop expecting it. It's a hope of something in the future that is good. That's what an expectation is. It's looking for something in the future. If we expect things bad to happen, stop. Stop. Because Jesus Christ, He speaks life into every circumstance. There may be relationships in your life that are dead. He's here to speak life to you. There may be sickness in your family that can cause death, but He's here to speak life unto those things. And I believe that we have a God that is a God of life, that is a God of love, and that is a God of mercy and truth. And that's the kind of God that is present when Peter began to fasten his eyes upon that man, and he said, silver and gold, I ain't got none. Praise the Lord. I'm going to tell you something. I'm broke this morning. I ain't got a dime in my wallet. Maria, I've done spent my allowance, and she said I couldn't have anything else. Silver and gold, I don't have. I don't have it, Sherry. I don't want it. But praise the Lord, for such as I do have. I'm going to tell you what I have. Praise the Lord. Can I spend just a minute before I go on? I've got 4 or 5 of these, but that's okay. It doesn't matter if I only get through one or none of them. I want to tell you what I have today. I have a Savior that came from heaven, that loved this world enough that to die upon an old rugged cross and to shed His blood for the pardon and remission of our sin. A Savior who took stripes upon His back like a child that we may receive healing. That's what I have today. I have a Spirit from Him that is sent down from heaven to reign on the inside of me, to guide and to direct in truth and righteousness. That's what I have today. I've got a hope, Joe, that goes above and beyond anything this world has to give. I'm here to tell you guys, if you're here and you're sick, cancer ain't nothing when it comes to God. This man had brain cancer. They gave him no hope. I was there when the doctor came out and told Kathy, we just don't know what to tell you. There ain't no hope. Praise the Lord, he's cancer free. Praise the Lord, walk him and give him God glory and praise. That's what we have today. We have a healer such as I have. We need to learn to give. And we can't give that if we don't look at us and see what we do. Amen. Didn't mean to get all excited. I think I spit on 3 or 4 of them. I'm sorry. Such as I have, give I thee. We got givers in the place. Praise God for all of it. You know what? I found this in my Christian walk. And I'm going to be honest and serious for me. That's hard for me, but I'm going to try. I found this in my Christian life. I don't think, since I've been saved, I've never seen a time or a place or a church that wasn't willing to give. I've never seen that. I don't know if they are, they're somewhere else. I've never been there. But I'll tell you what I have seen. I've seen people that sit in the pews that are unwilling to receive. Can I tell you, it's hard to give. And to give, and to give, and to give when nobody's receiving. Peter said, I'm glad that this man was a willing vessel, aren't you? I'm glad that he was willing. As he was sitting there, he was desperate. He was begging to supply his needs for the day. He was pleading for people to just give him an alms so that he may be able to have food to eat through the day. He couldn't walk. And he was sitting there just as they went by, going into the temple. He would ask them of alms, and he was willing to receive. And Peter said, such as I have, give I thee. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, rise up and walk. That's what he had. He had, through the Spirit of God, the power to release that healing. That not his power, it's his power. Can I tell you, there was no power in Peter. There was no power in John. There was no power in anything other than faith and believing that he is who he is and he'll do what he says he'll do. He said, arise, take up your bed and walk. And you know what he did in verse 7? The Bible says he took him by the right hand. I would pull you up, Brady, but you're so, I pray you're like a pretzel. You break it. Don't laugh at poor little pretzel. We're Brady. Listen to me. Listen to me. God's got something special for you today. Some of us can receive it before we leave our seats. Others are still dealing with it. Sometimes you'll need somebody that'll pull you up. That'll get a hold of your hand and pull you to a place to let you know you're not by yourself. You don't have to speak in your power or your strength. It's all about His Spirit. And when it comes and it brings that, there ain't no questions and there ain't no doubt. Sometimes we just need somebody to get us by the hand, not to pull or to prod, but to just guide as we go in this life, walking this walk and talking this talk and going where we need to go. Stood up way too long. Everybody's looking at me. Silver and gold have I none. He took him by the right hand. Can I tell you, if you're the one that's given, y'all hear me today? Is this thing on? Yeah. If you are the ones that are giving, don't be afraid to grab somebody by the hand and to help them. After you give something and you've blessed them and God has given you something for them, don't be afraid to help them to receive, because we have trouble receiving. Amen? Amen. He exceeded the expectation of that man that day. That man was just sitting there waiting on something to come that would supply his food for the day. How many of you know that I believe from that day forward he was able to work and to supply himself with everything that he needed without any help from anyone? I don't believe you found him at that temple door the next day begging of alms at those that came in. I believe you found him about the Father's business, doing what was necessary and needed for his life and for his family. Aren't you glad that we serve a God that will make provision for us in every single way? I want you to know that he exceeded the expectation of that man that was sitting there that day. He didn't have silver and gold, but he had Jesus Christ, and he exceeded it that day. Praise the Lord. And my mind's moving real fast, so I'm going to go with you. John chapter 6. I think I gave her that too. John chapter 6, there was a bunch of people following Jesus. I'm going to try to make it quick. If not, I'll take too long, and we will be here all day. And I got a party to go to. Not really. John chapter 6. Start at verse 1. John chapter 6, verse 1. How many know when you follow after Jesus and you're looking for the things that Jesus is trying to give you and what to do for you and what to bring your way, that from time to time we get weary? Anybody ever got weary? Anybody in here tired? Anybody in here ready for refreshing from the Holy Spirit today to just lift you up and to go and take you into those places that you never thought you were able to go, simply because God is willing, able, and ready to meet our needs? Well, there was a bunch of people that was following Jesus, 5,000 men, the Bible said. And Jesus began that. I'm not going through the whole story, so you just, put the base on. So as he was teaching and talking to these people, and as he was teaching them, it began to get late, and he began to look to the disciples and the apostles. He said, boys, he said, it's late in the evening, and these guys ain't ate all day. They've been listening to me and following me. I think we need to give them something to eat. I think we need to feed them, Andy. Andy, we got to feed them. Aaron, we got to feed them. Jerry, we got to feed these people. Mike, we got to feed them, son. We got to speak words of life that will bring sustenance, that will bring strength and life to those that are spiritually weak and spiritually dead. Jesus had to feed them, and he knew that he had been feeding them all day with the spiritual. It was time to feed them with some. Can I tell you, he He not only wants to bless you spiritually, He wants to bless your body too. He wants to empower you and strengthen you and give you what you need so that this body can go ahead and do what it's supposed to do. If He's got a job for you, He'll supply all of your needs to fulfill that job. Don't be afraid to take what He's got for you. But there was a young boy there. They said, well, how are we going to feed this bunch? How are we going to feed them? Jerry, there's two. I'm only one. How am I going to feed them? He says, just listen. Just listen. I need you to set them down. 50 in a place, 50 in a place. Have you got any food? Nobody should ever ask, and I know they don't have to ask Pastor Kurt if he has anything to say. Because how many of you know if you're a child of God and the Holy Spirit's in you, you've got something to say. You've got something to give. And he said, no, we really don't have any. We don't have, it would take 200 people worth to go and buy enough food to just give everybody here just a bite, just a little bit. He said, well, just set them down, and what do you have? He said, well, there's a lad here that has 2 fish and 5 loaves. Can I tell you that was more than enough? He exceeded the expectations of everybody there. With 2 fish and 5 loaves, he began to talk unto his heavenly Father, and he began to bless it. Can I tell you something? When God blesses something, anybody in here ever been blessed by God? Well, if you've been blessed by God, that blessing wants to multiply over and over and over and over. One person in your life, if you ever lead to the Lord, according to what most mathematicians say, by the time in a 50-year range, you have. Anybody ever led somebody to Jesus Christ? Would you raise your hand? According to what most people say, I don't know who they are, but I guess they work hard at figuring this out. They say that you have impacted over a 50 years goes from now, you will have impacted almost 1 million people because you led one person to Christ. How many can I tell you, he keeps giving, and he keeps giving, and he don't stop giving. I know that's hard. I can't stand still, baby. No, I'm sorry. She's trying to follow me. Don't take for granted what God has given you. Amen. Hold on to it. Take fast hold of the instruction that you get from the Word of God, according to the Proverbs. Right? Take fast hold of the instruction and let her not go. My wife's my instructor. I can't have her let her go. She instructs me. I'm glad for that. I praise God for it. But here they are, and he set them down, and he took the bread, and he blessed it, and he broke it, and he gave it. Usually before he gives you to someone else to minister to them, he will bless you and break you. If he don't bless you and break you, you're probably not pliable enough to be used. But when he blesses you and he breaks you, then he's willing to give you. And when he gives you, you just need to be willing to say and to do everything. He will exceed your expectations, just like he did that day. And you know that after everyone had ate, and all had ate to not just a little bit, not just a bite, but according to go ahead and read the whole chapter if you want to, but it says they all ate to their full. They didn't just eat enough to get a bite or two and say, I'm good. They ate till they was all full. And after that, he exceeded the expectations to this point. They took out 12 baskets of leftovers. And I don't think these leftovers have been eaten off of, do you? I think they were for the little boy that had the 5 and the 2 so that he could take them back and say, look what giving just a little bit done for us. All I had was 5 loaves and 2 fish, and God brought all of this to us. And I believe that's what God wants to do to us. Look around you today, what a crowd in this church is because somebody had the willingness and the desire to serve God in a place where they felt free and open to do it. And God has blessed and brought. He exceeded the expectations even of the disciples that day. When they was wanting to go try to find a town to buy some food so that they could give them all just a bite, he fed them to the full and had 12 baskets left over. Amen. That's the kind of God we serve. He is faithful and he is able. Anybody ever read the story of Daniel? Good. If you'd all read it, I wouldn't have nothing to preach to it. Daniel was a prophet, you know. He had 3 buddies that was with him. Hananiah, Azariah, and Mishael. Most of us will know him as Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
There was a fiery furnace that was used for this purpose, to melt down the metals in a valley, so that the king and his workmen could make, so that the workmen of the king could make a statue. And they had this furnace there, and they heated these metals to the point that they could mold them and make them into something that would, I guess, would have been marvelous to just look at it and wonder. And as this king made this image and set it up, and had it set up in this valley, he brought all of his kingdom out there, and they said, when the sound of the music begins to sound, when you hear the sound of the flute and the cornet, and you hear the song that begin to play, and you hear all of the things coming, then you need to bow down and worship the king that set up this image. Because he is worthy, because he is the one that brought it to pass and brought us all here. And he is the one that is going to keep us throughout the rest of our lives if we'll just do what he said. I'm kind of adding to that. Is that all right? Fellowship a little bit. But I'm just imagining that as this team began to set this thing up, it was a proud moment for them. It was a proud moment. And it was there to just to see the people bow before him over what he had just done. And as the music began to play, everybody bowed. I don't know if he had people that were watching, because if everybody was bowing, how would somebody know the three did? People watching. They know if your car passes by their house Sunday morning, come out to go to church. There's people watching you. They know if on Tuesday night or Wednesday night or Thursday night or whatever night you have church, they know whether or not. They'll see your car. But they know. I've had people say, I know you was going to church, I see your car go by. Yeah. Oh, there's people watching. They want to know if you're faithful. They want to know if you are who you say you are. There are people watching. But anyway, they found out that these three had about, they brought the news to the king. He was mad. They brought him up before him, and he said, I'm going to give you one more chance. How many of you know the devil will take you back? He'll give you another chance to mess up. He'll give you another opportunity. And he said, I'm going to give you one more chance. He said, when they play the music this time, you better bow. And I ain't playing. I ain't kidding this time, you better bow. How many of you know the music played? But before that, how many of you know what they said? They said, okay, we're not even careful to answer you this matter. In other words, we don't even have to think about what we're going to say here right now. Our God is able to deliver us out of your hand, but if he don't, we're still not going to worship this image. We're still not going to bow at the thing that you made, because he and he only is worthy to be praised and only to be worshipped. It's about God. It ain't about nobody else. And to them, that's what they said, and that's what they felt, and that's what they believed. The music began to play, and they did not bow. They didn't worship that image. They didn't bow before it. They didn't. And the king's countenance began to change towards them. He got so angry. He said, I need you to heat up this furnace that we used to melt this metal 7 times hotter than it was when you was working on the metal. And I want the most valiant men in the army to take these men, and I want you to bind them up, and I want you to tie them up tight. Have you ever felt like that? You ever felt like the enemy just got you so tight and so bound up and so wound up that you don't even know where to go or what to say or how to act if you was to get there? And they bound them up tight in their feet, and they couldn't walk Joe, and they threw them. And the furnace was so hot that the ones that threw them in there died because it was so hot. But they threw them in there bound, and the old king, I don't know if he was getting up to look because of his pride or arrogance or just to watch it burn. Can I tell you something? If you get on fire for God, people will come if they don't want to do nothing but to watch you burn. They'll come for that purpose. And the king looked down over into the furnace. And he began to ask the question. He began to inquire. And I know y'all heard this story, but he said, didn't we throw 3 men in there that were tied up and bound? And can I tell you that you're serving a God that can exceed your expectations? I don't know what Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego expected when they didn't bow. They expected the king's fury to be hot against them, but I don't know if they had any kind of expectation of what was going to be next. But he threw them into this furnace, and the king looked in. He said, wait a minute, I thought we threw 3 men in, and they were tied up, and they were bound. He said, I don't see 3, and I don't see anybody bound. I see 4 men up walking around, and they ain't tied up anymore. They're loose. Can I tell you, I serve a God that wants to set you free of every bondage that you've ever been in? And sometimes you got to get in the fire to get there, but after you get there, he'll be with you every step of the way, and he'll bring you to your victory in Jesus' name. He will exceed your expectation. Not only Well, y'all didn't see to the post. Luke chapter 3. Luke chapter 5. Verse 15. I can't even read my own word. I think it's 5. How many do you 5? You'll exceed your expectations. Luke chapter 5 and verse 3 says, he had been teaching the Lake of Gennesaret. He had been teaching there. He had been just trying to talk to the people. And as it began to come around him, it got so much that he couldn't hardly even teach for the press. So he jumped on somebody's boat, went out a little bit on Simon's boat, jumped out a little bit from the shore so that he could teach his piece and be able to not be just thrown about by the people. And as he began to teach, the Bible says, in verse 3 it says, he entered in into one of the ships which was Simon's, and prayed him that he would thrust out a little from the land, and he sat down and he taught the people out of the ship. And when he had finished, in the next verse says, when he had finished speaking, he told Simon, he said, well, I need you to launch out into the deep. Y'all heard this one, anybody been in any deeper here lately? Praise God for one. I knew she had. I was going to call her name, but she had to raise it. I probably would have. I would have thought about it. I probably would have thought about it. But he said, launch out into the deep and let down your nets for the catch or the haul that you're about to bring in. I mean, you know, I find this in my life, and I find this in my walk with Christ. It's not hard for me to get out into the deep. Anybody feel the same way? It's easy to get to the deep. Ain't much work to let the ship take you out just a little bit farther. That ain't much work. You don't have to do much work. But when you let down your nets, you know that there's work to be done. When you let down your nets, you know that there's things that have got to be accomplished by you. Your net is going to stay there, and eventually, if you don't pull it up, it'll sink the ship. So there's got to be work done after you let the net down. Here's two that's been letting their nets down for 45 or 50 years. Or 60, I'm sorry. Don't be offended. You're not. I was going to say 70, but I thought, Lord have mercy. 64. So you let your nets down. How many of you know when you let your nets down, when Jesus said, let's go out into the deep for a catch, and you let your nets down and the catch is coming? What are you going to do with what you catch? The Bible says, if you'll read that, the nets begin to break. To the point that he blessed them with the catch and with the haul, to the point that they couldn't even get them in a boat. One boat wouldn't hold the amount of the catch that God had provided right there. When you go out into the deep, how many of you know he'll exceed your expectations? Peter began to speak to him and said, Lord, we've toiled all night long. We have fished and fished and fished, and we ain't caught a thing. Sometimes we wonder, even preachers, can I talk to preachers for a minute? Sometimes we think in our ministries that we're not being effective and we're not helping anybody or doing anything. Can I tell you, God is just getting you ready. You just keep letting your net down. You may toil, you may work, you may do it, but when the Spirit of the Lord says, put your net down right here, and you put your net down there, the catch is coming. The catch is coming, and it'll be more than you ever thought possible, and more than you ever thought you could bear or handle. Can I tell you, God has got more than you have, and He can bless you with more than you can ever think. He will exceed your expectations. And He let the net down. I don't know what He thought. He said, nevertheless, I fished all night long, but nevertheless, at your word, I'll drop down my nets. And as He began to get to the place where He was supposed to put them down, sometimes we're letting our nets down in the wrong place. And if you let your nets down that God has given you, it's for a purpose and a place. And if we're not putting them down in the right place, Jerry, we're going to catch. Sometimes we'll catch the wrong thing. Sometimes we'll catch what we were looking for. And it'll be too much for us. It'll overpower us. And it'll come against us. And I'm here to tell you that when Jesus Christ tells you to put your net down, put it down. Put it down. Put it down and put your net down with a confidence and with an assurance. Yes, you have an expectation that He will exceed even what the Bible says. I ain't going there yet. That's why it's flat. It's time that the church realizes that we're serving a God that has more than we've ever experienced in our life. He's got more. I talked to you about the boy at the gate of the temple. gate called Beautiful, that his expectation was exceeded when he just asked for alms and he got to walk. And he was lame from birth in his mother's womb. And I talked to you about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who I don't know what their expectation was, but I know this. Jesus, or the Son of God, even the king said, the fourth one that's in there with him is like unto the Son of God. So he knew that something supernatural was there. And he said, look, you better not bow to anybody else but the God that they serve. I told you about them and how their faith and how they walked in him and how that there was a move closer to God every day. I talked to you about this in Luke, about these fishermen that Jesus Christ said, go out into the deep and cast your net and allow God to do his work. And allow God to do what he's supposed to do. If we're ready to drop down our nets, then we will be ready for the catch. When they did, the multitude of the fishes began to be up so many that it began to sink their boat. They had to call for the partners to come over to help them. And it says the both ships began to sink from the weight of the catch that the Lord had provided for them that day. He wants to exceed your expectations. If you're here today and you don't know who Jesus Christ is, I'm here to tell you, he's all that in a bag of chips. And that ain't even close to explaining who he is. He's all of that. He's all that you'll ever need in your life. He is your bread. He is your water. He is your shepherd. He is the door to the sheepfold. He is everything that you will ever need, and he will provide for you in every single way. And everything that you think he is, and everything that you think he can be so much more. The Bible says in Ephesians chapter 3 and verse 20, and I'm going to try to quit with this verse. 3 and 20. Everybody knows what it is, right? Now. How many like the word now? See, we get too focused on yesterday. We get too focused on then. We get too focused on what if. We get too focused on what could, or how this, how that. If the devil can get you thinking about what happened yesterday and worrying about what might happen tomorrow, he has just cheated you out of the blessing that God has for you right now. We've got a now, God, right now. Today is the day. Now is the time. It's time. It's time for us to cast off the works of darkness. It's time for us. It's time, and it's high time, as it would say in the book of Romans, for us to, our salvation is nearer than we first believed. The night is far spent. The day is at hand. Let's cast off the works of darkness. It's time that we come to Jesus Christ, and it's time that we realize he is who he says he is in his word. His expectations are absolutely exceeded in every way that we trust in him. In Ephesians chapter 3, it says, now to him, now. I love that word now. That is able. How many believe he is able? Able to do exceeding. Anybody like exceeding? Abundantly. You like that word? Above. That's over anything or whatever it is that you can think or ask according to his power that works in you. Can I tell you it's his power that will give you the ability to let down your net? It's his power that will give you the ability to draw it back. It's his power that will give you the ability to, even in the midst of the fire, to not be afraid. It's his power that will, when you're hungry or when you don't have something to feed someone else, it's his power that will bring what you need, Pastor, and give you. He's got this. He's got this, guy. We worry. Anybody in here worrier like me? Me and Michael Sean's only two honest ones in the building. He will exceed your expectations. Allow him to do for you what he's done for the people. How many of you know he's the same God? He's the same God today as he was then. He's the same God now as he was in the days of Haman. He's the same God now as he was in the days of the temple. As Peter and John were walking, he's the same God now, even when Peter was going fishing. He's the same God, and he wants to supply all of our needs if we will just let him. Is it okay if I give an altar call? Everybody stand up.